For 18 seasons, we watched her sacrifice. We watched her be the diplomat, the logical one, the peacemaker who swallowed her pride to keep a crumbling family together. But today, reports are flooding in that Janelle Brown has finally drawn a line in the sand that Kody never saw coming. We aren't just talking about a breakup, we are talking about a total erasure. No cameras, no drama, and perhaps most shockingly, no Brown name. The ultimate act of rebellion isn't just leaving, it is erasing him completely. Sources are indicating that Janelle is planning a wedding, but unlike anything we have seen in this franchise, she has issued a bend that has left Kody devastated and the TLC executives scrambling. This is the story of Janelle's revenge, and why her silence is screaming louder than Kody ever could. Before we dive into the exclusive details of the wedding ban and the name change that broke Kody, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button if you are Team Janelle and you want to see her finally get the happiness she deserves. And make sure you are subscribed to COCO Gossip with notifications on, because as this story develops, we are going to be the first to bring you the updates. You do not want to miss what comes next. Let's get right into the bombshell that is shaking the foundation of Flagstaff. For years, the unspoken rule of the Brown family was that everything is content. Births, deaths, divorces, and marriages. If it happens, the cameras are rolling. It is how they pay the bills. It is how they stay relevant. But insiders are now suggesting that Janelle is breaking that contract in the most spectacular way possible. Reports are swirling that Janelle is not only planning a wedding to a new mystery man, but she has set one non-negotiable condition: TLC is banned. Let that sink in for a second. This would easily be the highest-rated episode in the history of Sister Wives. After watching her struggle for decades in a loveless spiritual marriage, seeing Janelle walk down the aisle with a man who truly values her would shatter viewership records. It is the payoff we have all been waiting for. But she is saying no. She is reportedly choosing love over money and privacy over fame. And while the fans are cheering for her integrity, there is one person who is allegedly furious, and that is Kody Brown. Now, why would Kody care? You might think he would be happy to be rid of the responsibility, or that he would not want to watch his ex-wife move on. But you have to understand the psychology of Kody Brown. Sources close to the situation claim that Kody is deeply insulted by the ban on cameras. It sounds contradictory, but Kody reportedly believes he is entitled to witness her life milestones. There is a twisted narrative running through his head where he wants to be the benevolent ex-husband. He wants the scene where he attends the wedding, smiles for the cameras, and gives a speech about how he just wants everyone to be happy. He wants to center himself in her narrative one last time. He wants to be the father of the bride figure, even at his ex-wife's wedding, proving that he is a good guy who has evolved. By banning the cameras, Janelle is denying him that redemption arc. She is denying him the screen time. She is effectively saying that her future has absolutely nothing to do with him. She isn't doing this to be petty. She is doing it to be free. But to a narcissist, indifference is far worse than hatred. If she filmed it and bashed him, he would love it because he would still be the topic of conversation. By locking the doors and shutting down the production, she is making him irrelevant. This video isn't just about a wedding. It is about the total deconstruction of the Brown Family Dynasty. Today, we are going deep into Janelle's 17,000-step journey from sister wife to independent woman, and why dropping the last name is the final nail in Kody's ego. We have to look at this as the anti-Christine wedding. Think back to Christine's wedding to David Woolley. That was a televised spectacle, a two-part special. It was beautiful, it was loud, and it was a public declaration that she had won. Christine wanted to show the world she was happy. She wanted the validation, and frankly, she deserved it. She wanted Kody, Robyn, and the entire world to see her being worshipped by a man who loved her. That was her revenge. But Janelle is playing a completely different game. The narrative drive here is fascinating because it highlights the fundamental differences between the two women. Christine wanted to show the world she was happy. Janelle wants to be happy without the world watching. Rumor has it that this new man in Janelle's life is the complete anti-Kody. He isn't a showman. He isn't looking for a spinoff. He values privacy above all else. Sources suggest he sees the damage the show has done to Janelle's children and her peace of mind, and he is stepping in as a protector. He is allegedly the one encouraging this blackout. not to control her, but to shield her from the circus that Kody thrives in. This brings us to the financial hit, which is a massive part of this story that people are overlooking. We have to analyze the economics of this decision to truly understand the weight of it. By banning the cameras, Janelle is walking away from a massive paycheck. We know that TLC pays a premium for wedding specials. We are talking about potential six-figure payouts that could secure her retirement or help her build on that land she fought so hard for. In the early seasons of Sister Wives, Janelle was the one stressing about the budget. She was a financial pragmatist. She was the one who worried about 401ks and savings. For the woman who was the financial backbone of the family to look at a six-figure check and say, "Keep it," that is the ultimate proof of her growth. It proves that she is finally financially independent, a journey that has taken her years to complete after untangling her assets from Kody and Robyn. But more importantly, it proves her love is authentic. This isn't a storyline. This isn't for a season finale cliffhanger. This is her real life. Now, look at this from Kody's perspective. Kody sees everything as a transaction. To him, relationships are transactional. Loyalty for love, obedience for time. He likely views a wedding without cameras as a waste of content. In his mind, if you aren't monetizing the moment, did the moment even happen? This highlights the fundamental, unbridgeable difference in their morals. Kody lives for the performance. Janelle is finally living for the reality. We also have to talk about the safe haven dynamic. The reports coming out about this mystery man describe him as quiet, strong, and intensely private. Think about the men Kody has clashed with in the past. He struggles when he is not the alpha in the room. If Janelle is marrying a man who doesn't need to scream to be heard, a man who doesn't need a camera crew to feel validated, that is terrifying to Kody. It holds a mirror up to his own insecurities. Kody thrives on chaos. He thrives on the manic energy of moving houses, changing rules, and manufacturing drama. This new partner thrives on peace. Janelle has always been the logical one. She is a thinker. If she is choosing this man, it is a calculated decision for peace. She is choosing a safe haven. The strict no-drama rule that is allegedly being enforced for this wedding is a direct rejection of the last 10 years of her life. The show is a drama. Kody is a drama. Robyn is a drama. By saying no drama, she is saying no Browns. It is interesting to see the fan reaction to these rumors. If you look at the forums and the comment sections, there is a collective sigh of relief. Fans aren't angry that they won't see the wedding. They are relieved. They are commenting things like, "Good for her," and "Protect your peace, Janelle." There is a sense that the audience has become protective of her. We don't need to see the wedding to know she won. We just need to know that Kody isn't there to ruin it. But let's go deeper into the psychology of the news breakdown. Why is this considered a viral moment before it has even officially happened? Because it breaks the fourth wall. For nearly 2 decades, we have suspended our disbelief. We pretended that the cameras were just flies on the wall, documenting reality. But we all knew that the presence of the crew altered the behavior of the family. By banishing the crew, Janelle is shattering the illusion. She is acknowledging that the show itself is a toxic element in her life. There are rumors that TLC executives are trying to negotiate. They are allegedly offering special conditions, limited crews, or even just smartphone footage. But sources say Janelle is immovable. This isn't a negotiation tactic to get more money. It is a boundary. And that is something Janelle struggled to set with Kody for 30 years. To see her set such a firm boundary with a massive television network shows just how much she has changed. She is no longer the woman who sits on the couch and rationalizes Kody's bad behavior. She is the woman who closes the door. Kody's alleged reaction of being insulted is fascinating because it reveals his ownership mentality. He believes he owns the history of the family. He believes that because he was the patriarch, he is entitled to a front row seat to the aftermath. He cannot comprehend that to Janelle, he is just an ex-husband, a ghost, a mistake she has learned from. He wants to be the benevolent king, granting his blessing to the departing subject. But Janelle isn't a subject anymore, and she doesn't need a king. She has a partner. This wedding blackout is the first step in the total erasure of Kody Brown from her life. But the second step is the one that truly breaks him. The name change. We are going to get into that in just a moment, and trust me, the symbolism of dropping the Brown name goes so much deeper than just paperwork. It is a spiritual divorce that cuts Kody to his religious core. We have to talk about the man who is making all of this possible. Who is this mystery man that has reportedly swept the logical, pragmatic Janelle off her feet? For years, Janelle was the wife who claimed she didn't need romance. She was the one who was fine with Kody stopping by once every few days. She was the buddy, the business partner, the low-maintenance wife. Kody weaponized that against her. He took her independence and used it as an excuse to neglect her. But now, reports are surfacing that this new partner is completely rewriting Janelle's understanding of what a relationship should look like. Rumors describe him as the anti-Kody, and when you look at the profile of the man Janelle seems to be drawn to, the description makes perfect sense. Where Kody is loud, this man is quiet. Where Kody is manic, constantly moving from house to house and crisis to crisis, this man is stable. Where Kody needs to be the center of attention, commanding the room with his speeches and his hair and his demands for loyalty, this man is allegedly content to stand in the back and let Janelle shine. He is described as a protector, a term that has been notably absent from the Brown family vocabulary for a very long time. Kody claimed to be the protector of the family, but as we saw in the last 3 seasons, he was the one they needed protection from. This new dynamic is fascinating because it highlights just how much Janelle has transformed. In the past, Janelle rationalized Kody's chaos. She would sit in those confessionals and explain away his erratic behavior as passion or leadership. But sources say this new relationship has been a wake-up call. It has shown her that love doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be a negotiation. You don't have to fight for resources or affection. This safe haven she has found is a direct threat to Kody's ego because it proves that he wasn't difficult to love. Because he was a complex patriarch carrying the weight of the world, he was difficult to love because he was a bad partner. Janelle finding peace with a simple, private man exposes Kody's drama as entirely manufactured. The no-drama rule that is reportedly in place for this wedding is not just about banning cameras. It is about banning the toxicity that Kody brings. We have to speculate on the influence this boyfriend has on her decision-making. Janelle is strong, but even the strongest people can get sucked back into the vortex of a narcissist. It seems this new man is providing the anchor she needs to finally say no. He values privacy. He likely sees the wreckage of the family, the estranged children, the public feuds, the tears, and he is drawing a hard boundary to ensure his life with Janelle doesn't look like that. For Kody, who views his wives as extensions of himself, this is baffling. He cannot understand why a man wouldn't want to be on TV. He cannot understand a relationship that exists solely for the 2 people in it, rather than for an audience. But the wedding blackout is just the surface level of this rebellion. The real shock, the news that is reportedly sending shockwaves through Flagstaff and leaving Kody absolutely reeling, is the name change. We are hearing reports that Janelle isn't just getting married, she is dropping the Brown legacy entirely. And she allegedly did it without giving Kody a single heads up. To understand why this is the ultimate severance, you have to understand the religious and cultural context of this family. In their faith, the name isn't just a legal identifier. It is a seal. It is a covenant. Taking the name Brown was Janelle's ticket into Kody's celestial kingdom. It was the symbol that they were bound together not just for this life, but for eternity. By keeping the name, even after a divorce, many sister wives maintain a spiritual connection to the family structure. It signifies that the history still matters, that the bond remains in some ethereal way. By dropping the name, Janelle is committing a spiritual divorce. She is unsealing herself. She is telling Kody and the world that she does not belong to his afterlife. She is opting out of his planet. This is a rejection of his priesthood, a rejection of his leadership, and a rejection of the very core of his identity as a polygamous patriarch. It is the most definitive door slam she could possibly execute. Insider reports claim that Kody is asking a question that reveals everything about his narcissism. He reportedly asked, "Does our relationship of so many years have no value at all?" Let's analyze that. Value. Kody views his relationships as investments. He put time in, he put effort in, and he expects a return on that investment in the form of eternal loyalty. He thinks that because she bore him 6 children and worked for 20 years to pay off family debts, she owes him the homage of keeping his name. He believes that Janelle Brown is who she is and that without him she is nobody, But he is wrong, and this is where the story gets empowering. Before she was Janelle Brown, she was Janelle Shriver. She was a woman with a career. She was a woman with ambition. She was the breadwinner, the CFO, the logical thinker who kept the family afloat while Kody chased his dreams. Somewhere along the way, she lost that woman. She became a supporting character in Kody's movie. The name change signals a reclamation of identity. It says, I am not defined by being your wife. I am not defined by being a sister wife. I am defined by myself. Think about the symbolism. If she takes her new husband's name, or even if she reverts to her maiden name, she is wiping the slate clean. It effectively erases the Brown years as the defining era of her life. Kody hates this because he wants to be the protagonist of everyone's story. He wants to be the sun around which they all orbit. When Christine left, she kept the name for a while for the kids, for ease, for the brand. But Janelle is reportedly ripping the Band-Aid off. She is saying that the Brown legacy is one of pain, financial abuse, and neglect, and she wants no part of it on her driver's license or her tombstone. I want to ask you, the audience, a question right now. Put yourself in her shoes. If you divorced a partner who had emotionally neglected you for decades, who favored another spouse right in front of your face, and who estranged himself from your children, how fast would you change your name? Would you keep it for history, or would you burn it for freedom? Let me know in the comments, because this is the debate that is tearing up the internet right now. Now we have to move to the antagonist of our story. We have to psychoanalyze Kody Brown's reaction to all of this, because it is reportedly explosive. Why is Kody so furious? It isn't because he loves Janelle and misses her. We saw the way he treated her in season 18. He called her a liar. He gaslit her. He demanded loyalty while giving nothing in return. No, his fury isn't about heartbreak. It is about control. It is about what psychologists call a narcissistic injury. Kody is experiencing a loss of narrative control. For years, he controlled the spin. He could tell the cameras that the wives were being difficult, that they weren't obeying the rules of patriarchy, and he could paint himself as the suffering leader. But when Janelle shuts the cameras off, he loses his microphone. He loses his ability to spin the story. If the wedding happens in private, Janelle controls the narrative. She controls the photos that are released. She controls the guest list. And by banning him, she is publicly declaring that he is not a safe person to have around. Kody reportedly feels that he is being erased from the history books. First, Christine left and found a man who treats her like a queen, effectively replacing Kody as the romantic lead in her life. Now, Janelle is leaving and erasing his name, effectively replacing him as the authority figure in her life. He is being whittled down. He started with 4 wives and a massive kingdom. He is ending up with 1 wife, Robyn, and a shrinking plot of land at Coyote Pass that they still haven't paid off. The walls are closing in on his ego. There is a specific report that Kody is angry because he feels he was denied the chance to give her away, or at least be present to show his support. This is the center of the narrative syndrome. Seemingly, he wanted to insert himself into the wedding so he could be the bigger man. We have seen this before. Look back at Maddie's wedding. Look at Mike Kelty's wedding. Kody made those events about him. He made the officiating about his struggles, his priesthood, his feelings. He danced wildly in the center of the circle, demanding all eyes on him. He cannot stand to be a guest. He has to be the star. Janelle knows this pattern better than anyone. She has watched it for 30 years. She knows that if Kody is at the wedding, the tension will be palpable. The children, many of whom are not speaking to Kody, would be uncomfortable. The groom would be overshadowed. The entire day would become an episode of The Kody Brown Show. By banning him, she is preemptively stopping the performance. She is protecting her children from having to navigate his ego on what should be a joyous day. And that is what insults him the most, the realization that his family is happier when he is not in the room. The deep dive into Kody's psyche reveals that he views this name change and this wedding ban as a theft. He feels she is stealing his show and his storyline. He believes that Sister Wives is about him, but the reality, the twist that the fans have known for years, is that the show was never really about him. It was about the women surviving him, and now that they are thriving without him, he is becoming obsolete. There is also the element of the replacement. Kody has always been insecure about his stature as a man. He constantly talks about alpha males and patriarchy and respect. For Janelle to marry a man who is quiet, private, and by all accounts confident enough to not need a camera crew, it highlights Kody's insecurity. This new man doesn't need to tell people he is the head of the household. He just acts with integrity. That contrast is a mirror Kody cannot bear to look into. If Janelle takes this man's name, she is taking the name of a man she respects. And that implies she never truly respected Kody, or at least that she lost that respect a long time ago. The erasure of the Brown legacy is not just happening on paper, it is happening in the hearts of the children. We have seen the boys, Gabriel and Garrison, struggle deeply with their father's neglect. We have seen them gravitate towards strong male figures who actually show up. By changing her name, Janelle is also signaling to her children that they are moving into a new era, an era where the name Brown doesn't dictate their worth or their obligations. She is leading them out of the cult of personality that Kody built. This is why Kody is allegedly spiraling. It is the loss of the crown. In his mind, he is the king of the Brown family, but a king without subjects is just a man sitting alone in a cluttered house with Robyn. Janelle's wedding is the coronation of a new life. And Kody isn't even invited to the ceremony. Let's talk about the symbolism of the secret wedding. In celebrity culture, a secret wedding is the ultimate power move. It says, my life is for me. But for a reality star whose entire existence has been commodified, it is revolutionary. It disrupts the business model of TLC. It disrupts the expectations of the audience. And it disrupts Kody's bank account. This is financial warfare as much as it is emotional warfare. We know Kody and Robyn have faced financial struggles. We know they have taken out loans. They rely on the show's income. If Janelle refuses to film her wedding, she is taking money directly out of Kody's pocket because that is content he cannot leverage. She is hitting him where it hurts most, his wallet and his pride. The rumor that she changed her name without telling him is the cherry on top. It signifies that he is no longer entitled to information. For decades, Kody demanded to know everything. He wanted to know where they were going, who they were seeing, how they were spending money. The information embargo is the final boundary. She didn't ask for permission. She didn't ask for his blessing. She didn't even give him a courtesy text. She just did it. That silence is deafening. It screams indifference. And to a man like Kody, who feeds on reaction, whether positive or negative, indifference is the ultimate punishment. This move by Janelle effectively deconstructs the Brown Family Dynasty. There is no dynasty left. There are just ex-wives living their best lives and a bitter ex-husband trying to rewrite history. The name change is the period at the end of the sentence. It marks the end of the sister wives era and the beginning of the Janelle era. She is reclaiming the years she lost. She is reclaiming the identity she submerged for the greater good of the family. And she is doing it with a smile on her face, a new ring on her finger, and a new name on her license, all while Kody sits in Flagstaff, wondering why the cameras aren't rolling. We have to talk about the real plot twist here, the one that Kody never calculated, and that TLC probably fears the most. The fans are cheering for the blackout. Usually, when a reality star refuses to film a major life event, the audience feels cheated. We feel like we are owed the payoff after investing years of our time. But look at the comments, look at the forums. The verdict is unanimous. Janelle is finally taking control, and we are here for it. The audience has waited 18 seasons not to see a wedding, but to see this specific version of Janelle. The version that doesn't compromise. The version that chooses herself. For nearly 2 decades, the premise of Sister Wives was about a man trying to hold a family together. But the show has fundamentally shifted. It is no longer about the patriarch, it is about the escape. The power dynamic has completely flipped. The wives are now more famous, more beloved, and more financially viable than the man who claimed to make them. Kody thought he was the sun, but it turns out he was just the cloud blocking their light. Now that the cloud has moved, the fans are basking in the glow of Christine and Janelle's independence. This brings us to a critical question that is haunting the production offices of Puddle Monkey and TLC right now. What does this mean for season 19 and beyond? Can the show survive without Janelle's personal life? If Christine is living her best life in Utah and Janelle has gone dark to protect her new marriage, what is left to film? We are left with Kody and Robyn in the mansion on the hill, staring at their art collection and complaining about how they were victimized. And let's be honest, nobody wants to watch that. The ratings gold was the conflict, the breaking away, and the triumph of the women. If the triumph happens off camera, the show loses its climax. There is intense speculation that this could signal the end of Sister Wives as we know it. We might be witnessing the death rattle of the franchise. Or, and this is a fascinating theory circulating among insiders, TLC might try to pivot. If they can't film Janelle's wedding, will they try to sue? Contracts for these shows are notoriously strict. They usually demand exclusive rights to major life events. Is Janelle facing a legal battle behind the scenes? Is she willing to pay a breach of contract fine just to keep Kody away? If that is true, it only adds to her legend. It means she is literally paying for her freedom. But let's be real about how the producers will likely handle this. If they cannot film the joy, they will film the misery. If they cannot get cameras into Janelle's wedding venue, they will almost certainly park a camera crew in Kody's living room to film his reaction to the news. We are going to see episodes dedicated to Kody processing the betrayal. We will see Robyn wiping away dry tears, lamenting the destruction of the family culture. They will try to spin the narrative that Janelle is being selfish, that she is robbing the family of a milestone. But the audience is too smart for that now. We have seen behind the curtain. We know that a selfish Janelle is just a healthy Janelle. This entire saga exposes the fragility of Kody's kingdom. He built a life based on exposure, on living publicly, but the women who are leaving him are choosing the opposite. They are choosing the quiet. And in doing so, they are proving that the Brown family brand was toxic. The brand was the problem. Erasing the brand is the cure. So, where do we go from here? We are looking at a future where the spin-offs are inevitable. After Sister Wives saw some life after Kody, whatever they call it, the fans will follow Janelle and Christine. But they won't follow Kody. He is being left behind in the archives of reality TV history, a cautionary tale of what happens when you prioritize ego over love. Let's summarize this journey because it is truly epic. We started in a crowded house in Lehi, Utah. We watched Janelle wake up at 4 a.m. to commute to work, keeping the family afloat while Kody drove a 2-seater sports car. We watched her struggle with her weight, her self-esteem, and her voice. We watched her try over and over again to be the logical peacemaker in a house full of chaos. And now we are looking at a woman who's reportedly planning a secret, elegant wedding to a man who adores her, a woman who has secured her financial future, a woman who is dropping the name that tethered her to a past of subservience. Janelle Brown is dead. Long live Janelle. She hasn't just turned the page, she has burned the entire book. She has redefined what a happy ending looks like for a woman coming out of a high-control religious group. It doesn't look like a televised special. It looks like privacy. It looks like peace. It looks like a signature on a document that finally says, I am me. Now I turn it over to you, the jury of public opinion. I want to hear your verdict. Do you think Janelle is right to ban the cameras and lose the money to protect her peace? Or do we, the fans who have supported her for 18 years, deserve to see her happy ending? Is it selfish to shut us out? Or is it the ultimate act of self-care? And I really want to know what you think about the name change. Do you think dropping Brown is a necessary step to heal, or is it a slap in the face to the history of the family? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. If you support Janelle's freedom and her right to a camera-free life, hit that like button. It sends a message that we value her happiness more than our entertainment. And make sure you are subscribed to COCO Gossip with the bell icon clicked. As soon as any photos leak, as soon as the name change becomes public record, or as soon as Kody has his inevitable meltdown on social media, we will be the first to cover it. You do not want to be the last to know. Thank you for watching, and remember, in a world full of Kodys, be a Janelle. Know your worth, secure your bag, and when the time is right, don't be afraid to change your name and close the door. We will see you in the next video. We have to interrupt the celebration for a moment to talk about the silent player in this game of chess. We've talked about Janelle and we have analyzed Kody, but we cannot ignore the Robyn Brown factor. Sources are whispering that while Kody is exploding with narcissistic rage, Robyn is allegedly spiraling into a state of absolute panic. And the reason isn't love, it is math. For years, the fans have theorized that Janelle was the primary financier of the Robyn lifestyle. If you look at the timeline, the money Janelle brought in from the show and her 401k that was cashed out to fund the move to Flagstaff has seemingly evaporated into the mansion on the hill. With Janelle officially cutting ties, changing her name, and refusing to film, she isn't just removing her presence, she is removing her resources. Reports indicate that Robyn is devastated by the news of the secret wedding. But let's decode that word. In the world of sister wives, devastated usually means inconvenienced. Robyn has spent seasons crying about how she wants the big family sitting on the porch with her sister wives, but actions speak louder than tears. If Janelle marries this new man, the dream of the porch is legally and spiritually dead. Robyn is now the only wife left standing, and that is a position she reportedly never wanted, not because she wants the sisterhood, but because she doesn't want the full burden of Kody's personality. Insiders suggest that Robyn is terrified of becoming the sole target of Kody's frustration. When Janelle was around, even partially, she served as a buffer. She was a scapegoat. Kody could complain to Robyn about Janelle. Now, who does he complain about? If everyone else is gone and erased from the narrative, the only person left to blame for his unhappiness is the person sitting next to him. The honeymoon wife status is expiring. Janelle's wedding is effectively the expiration date on Robyn's fairy tale. We also have to discuss the Kody Pass War. This is the tangible dirt and mud battlefield of Janelle's revenge. By changing her name and marrying a new man, the legal implications for the property at Kody Pass are messy. Kody wants to build his empire there, he wants 5 houses, he wants the legacy. But Janelle still has a stake in that land. There is a theory gaining massive traction that Janelle's revenge isn't just the wedding, it is the force out. If she demands her share of the equity to start her new life with her new husband, she forces Kody's hand. He likely doesn't have the cash to buy her out, especially without the TLC bonus checks from a wedding special. This could force him to sell the land, effectively destroying the dream he dragged the family to Flagstaff for. Imagine the poetry of that. The land that destroyed the family is sold to pay for the wedding that celebrates her freedom. Let's look at the alliances forming in the background. We know the adult children have taken sides. It is not a secret, but the wedding guest list is the ultimate roll call. Sources say that not only are Christine and her children involved, but key members of the family who have been on the fence are rallying around Janelle. This is isolating Kody and Robyn in a way we haven't seen before. There are rumors that some of the older boys are ready to stand up as groomsmen or protectors at the ceremony. Think about the visual of Kody's sons standing next to a new stepfather figure, guarding the perimeter against any drama. That is a powerful image that destroys Kody's claim of being the patriarch. He demanded loyalty, but loyalty is earned, and he is bankrupt. We also need to address the NDA rumors. There is chatter that Janelle is having guests sign non-disclosure agreements. This is standard for celebrities, but for a reality TV family, it is aggressive. It proves she doesn't trust the leak. She knows there are moles in the family, people who might feed info back to Robyn or the tabloids. This level of security suggests she is protecting something precious. She isn't just hiding a ceremony, she is hiding her joy from people who would try to steal it. And what about the ring? We have to talk about jewelry. In the past, the wives wore the claddagh rings to symbolize their spiritual union. When the wives leave, the ring falls off. But reports of a new engagement ring are circulating, something modern, something expensive, and something that looks nothing like the jewelry Kody designed. We all remember those necklaces Kody designed, the ones that looked like heavy anchors. This new ring is reportedly light, elegant, and symbolic of freedom. It is a visual representation that she is no longer weighed down. Let's pivot back to the TLC crisis meeting. You have to imagine the panic in the boardroom. Sister Wives is a flagship show. If the star talent goes rogue, the business model collapses. There are whispers that TLC is considering a lawsuit or a withholding of funds if the contract was breached. But here is the kicker. Janelle might not care. She has her real estate license. She has her health coaching. She has her Plexus business. She has diversified. This is the lesson Kody missed. He thought the show was their only lifeline. He thought he controlled the purse strings. But Janelle spent years building a lifeboat while Kody was rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. If TLC sues, it just makes her more of a martyr and a hero to the fans. If they fire her, the ratings tank. She holds all the cards. This brings us to the spin-off potential. The network isn't stupid. They see the comments, they see the polls. A show focused entirely on Janelle and Christine living their best lives, traveling, getting married, and raising their grandkids without Kody would be a hit. It would be the Golden Girls of reality TV. By banning cameras from the wedding, Janelle is actually creating more demand. She is creating a gap in the market that the network will be desperate to fill. She might be negotiating a new contract right now, one where Kody isn't on the payroll. Finally, we have to touch on the psychic toll on Kody. We mentioned the narcissistic injury, but it goes deeper. Kody has always feared poverty. He has always feared irrelevance. Janelle's departure brings both of those fears to his doorstep. Without her income, the family pot shrinks. Without her storyline, his screen time shrinks. He is facing his own personal apocalypse, and he is doing it while watching the woman he called Teflon and aloof engage in a passionate romantic love affair that he deemed impossible for her. He told the world she wasn't romantic. He told the world she was just a buddy. She is proving him wrong in the most public, humiliating way possible. She didn't lack romance, Kody. She just lacked you. So as we watch this story unfold, keep your eyes on the money, keep your eyes on the land, and keep your eyes on Robyn. The unraveling of the Brown family isn't over just because the ring is off. The legal and financial wars are just beginning, and Janelle Brown, or whatever name she chooses to use tomorrow, is finally ready to fight dirty. We have to turn our attention to the collateral damage of this war, which has now become the primary battalion in Janelle's army, the children. You cannot tell the story of Janelle's revenge without talking about the boys, Gabriel, Garrison, Hunter, Logan, Peden. These are young men who watched their father break their mother's heart on national television. They watched him forget birthdays. They watched him demand apologies during COVID. They watched him prioritize Robyn's children over their own emotional needs. And now, enter the new man. The stepfather dynamic is perhaps the most explosive element of this entire saga. Sources close to the family are suggesting that Janelle's new partner has been embraced by the boys in a way that Kody never expected. We are hearing reports that the boys are not just tolerating him, they are respecting him. Think about what that does to Kody Brown. Kody prides himself on being the patriarch, the alpha, the leader of the pack. But here is a stranger, a man who didn't raise them, a man who didn't change their diapers, who is reportedly getting the respect Kody feels entitled to. Why? Because this man shows up, he listens, he doesn't demand loyalty, he earns it. There is a rumor circulating that the boys are actually helping to plan elements of this secret wedding. Imagine the optics of that. Kody's own sons, who haven't spoken to him properly in months, are allegedly working behind the scenes to celebrate the man replacing him. It is the ultimate vote of no confidence in Kody as a father. It sends a message that biology doesn't make you a dad, behavior does. We have to analyze the Logan factor. Logan is the eldest. He is the one who practically raised his siblings while Kody was driving between houses. Logan stepped away from the show years ago to protect his privacy. If Logan is at this wedding, and sources say he absolutely will be, and he is welcoming this new man into the fold, that is the seal of approval that matters most. Logan is the de facto patriarch of the original Brown family. If Logan bows to the new king, the transition of power is complete. And then there is the Robyn's kids situation. This wedding blackout creates a definitive line in the sand for the next generation. We know that Aurora, Brianna, and Dayton are seemingly isolated in the mansion with Kody and Robyn. By banning cameras and keeping the location secret, Janelle is effectively cutting off that branch of the family tree. There is no one big family anymore. There are two families, the Ogden Flagstaff Resistance, led by Christine and Janelle's kids, and the Loyalists, trapped in the Shira Chateau. And this leads to the inheritance nightmare. We touched on the land, but let's go deeper. Kody has always held the inheritance over their heads. If you are loyal, you get the land. But Janelle's marriage changes the math. If she marries this man, her assets legally become entangled with him. Her estate planning changes. She is no longer saving her assets for the Coyote Pass dream. She is likely rewriting her will to ensure that her hard-earned money goes directly to her children, bypassing Kody entirely. Kody knows this. He knows that once that marriage certificate is signed, he loses all leverage. He can no longer dangle the carrot of future resources because Janelle has found her own resources. The boys don't need Kody's land. They have their mother's freedom. Now, let's pivot to the theological divorce. We have to get biblical for a second because their faith is the backdrop of this entire trauma. In the AUB, Apostolic United Brethren, the group they originally belonged to, divorce isn't just a breakup. It is a spiritual failure. But a cancellation of sealing is a nuclear event. Janelle was sealed to Kody for eternity. In Kody's mind, even if they aren't married on Earth, she is still one of his queens in the afterlife. He gets to call her name through the veil. He gets to rule over his planet with her by his side. It is a comforting thought for a narcissist that no matter what she does here, he owns her soul there. But by dropping the name Brown and marrying a new man, Janelle is reportedly seeking a spiritual release. If she is sealed to this new man, or if she simply renounces the old sealing, Kody loses a piece of his celestial kingdom. His heaven is shrinking. This is why he is so angry. It isn't just about losing a wife on Earth. It represents a theological demotion. In his worldview, a man's glory is determined by the number of wives and children he brings to the afterlife. Janelle is taking herself and her 6 children off his scoreboard. She is taking her glory with her. We have to speculate on Kody's red pill descent. Have you noticed the change in his language lately? He uses terms like patriarchy, unplugging, and loyalty tests. He sounds less like a religious leader and more like an angry internet forum moderator. As he loses control of the women in his life, insiders predict he will dive deeper into the manosphere ideology. Without Janelle to balance him out, remember she was the logical one, the one who could talk him off the ledge, there is no one left to check his radicalization. Robyn feeds into it because she plays the damsel in distress, which validates his need to be the hero. But Janelle was the equal. Losing his equal leaves him alone with his echo chamber. We might see a darker, more bitter Kody emerge in the aftermath of this wedding news. Let's talk about the Mary Brown wildcard. Where does Mary fit into Janelle's revenge? For years, Janelle and Mary had a Cold War. They shared a kitchen, and it was a disaster. They were not friends, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Recently, we have seen a thaw. They aren't besties, but there is a shared trauma bond. If Janelle invites Mary to this secret wedding, it would be the ultimate plot twist. Imagine a photo leaking of Christine, Janelle, and Mary clinking champagne glasses at a wedding where Kody isn't allowed. It would be the definitive image of the ex-wives club. Even if Mary isn't invited, the fact that Janelle is doing this emboldens Mary. Mary has already left. She is at the B&B. She is dating. But seeing Janelle take the step of remarriage and name change breaks the psychological barrier. It tells Mary, you can erase him too. If all 3 original wives erase the Brown name, Kody is left as a polygamist with 1 wife, which is just a monogamist with a bad reputation. We also need to discuss the aesthetic shift. This seems superficial, but in the world of TV, image is everything. Think about the Brown family aesthetics for the last decade. Clutter, precious moments figurines, tacky furniture, purple mattresses. It was chaotic. Reports about Janelle's new life describe a quiet luxury shift. Clean lines, modern decor, healthy food. The wedding is rumored to be elegant, simple, and nature-focused. This aesthetic shift is a rejection of the chaos Kody lived in. It is a visual cleansing. Kody hates this. He hated when Christine got a new house. He hated when she got a new car. He views their upgrades as an insult to his provision. If Janelle releases wedding photos that look like they belong in Vogue rather than a TLC promo, it highlights the fact that he was holding her back. He was the anchor dragging her down to the bargain bin, and now she is floating up to the luxury tier. Let's go back to the NDA and the mole hunt. We mentioned the NDAs earlier, but let's expand on the paranoia this causes in Flagstaff. If Janelle has locked down her information, Kody is flying blind. Narcissists need intel. They need to know what you are doing so they can criticize it. The silence is torture. We can assume Kody is pumping the kids for information. When is it? Where is it? Is he paying for it? And the kids are reportedly gray rocking him. They are giving him nothing. I don't know, Dad. We aren't talking about that, Dad. This wall of silence from his own children regarding their mother's life is the final proof of his irrelevance. He is no longer the axis the world spins around. He is an outsider looking in through a frosted window. And what about the fan vigilantes? The audience is so invested that they have become a protective force. If paparazzi try to crash the wedding, the fans will likely attack the paparazzi online. If Kody tries to badmouth the new husband, the fans will dig up clips of Kody being a bad husband to contradict him. Janelle has an army of millions who are ready to defend this wedding at all costs. She doesn't need Kody's protection. She has the internet. This brings us to the hypothetical confrontation. What if Kody does try to crash it? It sounds crazy, but Kody is impulsive. He drives around aimlessly, he vents to cameras. Imagine the scene, Kody Brown showing up at the venue demanding to speak to the bride only to be stopped by security guards hired by his own sons. It is Shakespearean, it is tragic, and it is entirely possible given his current mental state. This fear of confrontation is likely why the location is so secret. Janelle isn't just hiding from cameras, she is hiding from the drama of a man who cannot accept no. The wedding isn't just a ceremony, it is a fortress. We are going to look at the financial forensics of how Janelle pulled this off, and the devastating timeline of how she secretly moved her money right under Kody's nose while he was distracted with Robyn. We promise to follow the money, and this is where the story turns from a family drama into a financial thriller. To understand how Janelle Brown pulled off this secret wedding and this total reinvention, we have to look at the financial forensics of the last 24 months. For years, Kody and Robyn lived under the assumption that Janelle was financially trapped. She put her proceeds from the Las Vegas house sale directly into the family pot to buy the mansion Robyn lives in. She famously had no assets in her name other than the RV and a plot of dirt. Kody thought he had her cornered. He thought she couldn't leave because she couldn't afford to. But Kody forgot one crucial detail. Janelle was the CFO of the family for decades. She knows the tax codes, she knows the LLC structures, she knows where the bodies are buried, financially speaking. Insiders speculate that while Kody was busy buying art and precious metals, Janelle was executing a quiet liquidation. Let's re-examine the RV era. At the time, Kody mocked it. He acted like it was a desperate move by a woman who had nowhere else to go. But looking back, financial experts in the fandom are realizing it was a masterstroke of strategy. By moving into the RV, she slashed her overhead. She stopped paying rent that would essentially go into the family ecosystem. She became liquid. She was stockpiling cash right under Kody's nose, living frugally so she could build a war chest for her exit. It wasn't poverty, it was a tactical retreat to gather resources for the invasion of her new life. There are also reports about the LLC maneuver. We know the Browns have various LLCs for their show income. Rumors suggest that Janelle severed her ties to the joint family LLCs much earlier than we realized. She likely set up her own independent entity for her Plexus business and her personal appearances. This means that for the last year or two, every dollar she made went into a silo that Kody couldn't touch. She was diverting the river of cash while Kody was still drinking from the old stream, not realizing it was drying up. This is the Shawshank Redemption of reality TV. Janelle crawled through a river of financial mud, bad credit, debt, financial abuse, to come out clean on the other side. And the wedding is the celebration of that clean break. The reason she can ban the cameras and turn down the TLC paycheck is that she doesn't need it anymore. She effectively embezzled her own freedom back from the family cult. And we cannot ignore the Plexus power. The multi-level marketing world is controversial, but for the Brown women, it was the escape hatch. It gave Janelle a network of income that had nothing to do with Kody. It gave her a community of women who hyped her up. It gave her travel opportunities. Kody belittled her career for years, but that career bought the dress she is going to wear to marry a man who respects her. Now, let's zoom out to the future of the franchise. What happens when the dust settles? If Janelle is gone, if the name is gone, and if the money is gone, what is left of Sister Wives? We are looking at a potential villain arc for the remaining couple. Without a common enemy, now that Christine and Janelle have completely removed themselves from the equation, Kody and Robyn will likely turn on the audience. We predict that season 19 will feature a bitter, defensive Kody who blames the toxic fans and the disloyal wives for his downfall. But it won't work. The charm is gone. The suspension of disbelief is gone. The network executives know this. That is why the silence from TLC regarding Janelle's wedding is so loud. They are terrified. They know that the Janelle and Christine spinoff is the only viable product left. They might be holding off on suing Janelle for the breach of contract because they are desperate to sign her for the new show. They need her more than she needs them. The power dynamic has completely inverted. Let's bring it back to the man of the hour, the mystery groom. His presence is the ultimate indictment of Kody's failure. Kody spent years claiming that polygamy was the superior lifestyle, that it made him a better man. But in the end, Janelle ran into the arms of monogamy. She chose the very thing Kody spent a lifetime preaching against. By marrying a regular man, she is validating the lifestyle of 99% of the audience. She is saying, I tried it your way, Kody, and it was a scam. Now I'm doing it the normal way. This wedding is the final funeral for the principle of plural marriage in the Brown family. It is officially dead. Christine killed it, and Janelle is burying it. So, here is the final verdict. Kody Brown wanted to be a patriarch. He wanted to be a king with a harem of adoring wives and a legion of loyal children. Instead, he ends up as a man in a cluttered house, estranged from his kids, divorced by his wives, and erased from their names. He wanted a dynasty, and he got a disaster. Janelle Brown, on the other hand, played the long game. She was patient, she was quiet, she took the hits, she let him scream, and while he was screaming, she was packing. She packed her self-esteem, she packed her bank account, and she packed her identity. The wedding ban isn't about privacy, it's about power. The name change isn't about paperwork, it's about exorcism. She is exorcising the ghost of Kody Brown from her life once and for all. And as for us, the fans, we might not get to see the wedding photos today, we might not get to see the ceremony on Sunday night TV, but we get something better. We get the satisfaction of knowing that the woman we rooted for, the one who did the math, the one who paid the bills, the one who stayed quiet for too long, has finally found her voice. And that voice is saying, goodbye, Kody. Janelle is finally free. And frankly, that is the best season finale we could ever ask for. Now, I need you to do one last thing. This story is developing rapidly. We are expecting leaked photos from the venue within the next 48 hours. We are expecting a potential social media meltdown from Kody as soon as the news officially breaks. If you want to be in the room when that happens, you need to subscribe to COCO Gossip right now. Hit the bell notification. And tell me in the comments, what should Janelle's new last name be? Should she take the new husband's name? Should she go back to Shriver? Or should she invent a whole new name to signify her rebirth? Drop your best name ideas in the comments below, and I'll feature the best ones in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following the money and the madness with me. Janelle has turned the page, and so have we. Until next time, keep sipping that tea.